Oh, I'm gonna swing, alright. I'm gonna swing in this episode of Terraformars. Yo, baseball in space. Does that not sound like the most hypest shit ever? Like, let's be honest here. I don't give a shit about baseball, but honestly, if I get to play that kind of baseball, that makes me want to kind of play it. You know, I'm a superhuman, freaking strong-ass warrior that's got a giant metal pipe and just throwing balls back with my buddy. I think, you know, both Marcus and Alex. So I think they had the kind of the shine of this episode, like seeing it. So one thing that's actually very surprising about this is that the plot came back in Terraformars. I know it's just been like throwing us people's backstories and just throwing us like all this kind of stuff, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh, right, the story. Oh, you know, Terraformars. Yeah, we forgot about it. Yeah, you might want to work on that a little bit more better since we're now on, like, the second to last episode, Terraformars. I'm just saying. But from what we got to see from this episode, we saw that the Russian group pretty much made their way throughout the entire pyramids, and they were, like, talking about Rahab's legacy, which even in the anime is making it very vaguely like, oh, what the fuck is this thing? And it's like, to be honest, it sounds like the Russian group don't honestly know themselves for the most part. And they were saying, like, you know, nothing but, like, a dead body just there. And it was honestly all they saw in the pyramids was just murals. And they were just showing, like, how they pretty much did the bug surgery on themselves and stuff like that. And that's honestly all that we saw from the Russian group. And from one thing that we found out as well, that, you know, they got a little help from a certain, you know, people, shall I say. So it's been found out that apparently one of the groups has betrayed, like, the UNASA group all on Mars and all that. Turns out, you know, it could either between, okay, we all know, like, if it's a German group and they just pulled that shit, that would be insane. Like, the only three groups that it could honestly possibly be, it could be the German group, it could be the Chinese group, and it could be the Greece group. Like, so we've only seen a little bit of the Greece group, and, you know, we saw what happened to, you know, the Chinese group, and most of them just got singed to fuck and all that. And it's like, honestly, like, you know, who knows, like, what might have happened, like, there and all that. Maybe some Chinese might have survived or something like that. I mean, I'm trying to keep it vaguely as well for, you know, anime only watches and all that. I have read the manga, so yeah, no spoilers in the comment section down below, because I really don't want to spoil people about who betrayed who in, you know, in this episode. But who knows, maybe we might find out in the last episode of Terraformars as they go for a lot of the content. And we see as well, you know, Shokushi, he had his fight with the Silkworm, Terraformars. Seeing a little bit of his backstory as well, which was actually, some of that stuff was in the OVAs if no one's ever saw him. So I guess that was a kind of little nice thing to show pretty much in a nutshell what happened. But, like, everyone else had, like, episodes dedicated to him. Shokushi, who was, like, kind of was the main guy in the first volume, just had, like, 2 minutes dedicated. And that just shows how fast the pacing is in the series and stuff. And yeah, they could have done things a lot better, but it's just, like, the flames everywhere after these missiles went off. Like, it was bad enough, like, Alex and all that, they've been fighting, like, since noon and all that. Like, both, like, Marcus and Yaiko, and then it was up to Alex to save him, and it was like throwing baseballs in space and all that, just swinging. It was awesome. I gotta love it. You know, the flames everywhere. And I gotta give it props to Terraformars. It's like, yeah, it's going for a fast concert, but the animation looked absolutely beautiful in this episode. That and the art is like just flames everywhere, just colorful. And it was honestly just, you know, a lot of fun you could have with this episode, and seeing, you know, different kind of terraformers. Like, you see, like, the ground digging ones. You see that flame one, which looks absolutely immensely sick, like that. And then we also see around about the end of the episode, we get to see Akari and Michelle's group arriving for backup as well. So we see, like, everyone's kind of gathering back together and sort of, like, have one big hurrah for the last episode. But it's just, like, the anime is going to feel so abrupt, I feel. And if they're going to do another season, then I don't know if they're going to do another one. I honestly doubt it. But if it is, fine. But it's like, the manga's so much better at this point, like that. It's like, honestly, I think a lot of people are just going to be turned off. They're going to be confused. And that's pretty much really what I want to say about this episode. It's like, you're going to be confused. You're going to be like, how is this like the ending? This feels like it's only just begun, sort of stuff like that. Because it's just been showcasing fights throughout the entire series and no progression to the plots whatsoever. So it was just like, oh, here's a little bit of the plot. Fuck you, we're going to space now. So it just honestly should have just been 24, honestly, at this point. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this episode of Terraformars. But that is all from me, Sarah. So thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's like, yeah, the plot came back and all that, but it's like, it's a little bit too late for fucking now. But that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.